Good afternoon, everyone. The great W.E.B. Du Bois once said, "We should measure the prosperity of a nation not by the number of millionaires, but by the absence of poverty and the prevalence of health." By that measurement, our city is anything but prosperous. Too many of our fellow New Yorkers live lives of poverty and suffering, and too many others live lives where health is nothing more than a rumor of something they cannot afford. When I take office in 2 days, I seek to change not only the measure of the well-being of those who live in our city, but those also tasked with the work of measuring. We are here today at Elmhurst Hospital, which serves over 1 million patients annually, and so often feels the pain of poverty and ill health more acutely than anywhere else in our city. If anyone should hold the public's trust in the work of transforming a healthcare system full of disparities and fighting for New Yorkers who most need the services our city can provide, it is the leader who has guided this institution through moments of adversity and success. I am proud to announce that Helen Artega will serve as my Deputy Mayor of Health and Human Services. Helen has served as CEO of New York City Health and Hospitals Elmhurst since February of 2021, the same hospital that saved her and so many other New Yorkers' lives during COVID. Her tenure has been transformative, with the hospital delivering consistent improvements in care to its patients and making historic strides to support its frontline healthcare workers. It's the kind of leadership that Elmhurst residents came to expect from a daughter of the community, someone who grew up like them, cared about people like them, and understood that New Yorkers with less are often treated with less. That leadership, driven by empathy and guided by an unshakable belief that every New Yorker deserves a life of dignity, is no less than what the people of this city will expect from their new deputy mayor. As Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, Helen will have incredible power to make our city healthier and more prosperous. This is work which will demand all of government coming together, which is why I'm thrilled to also announce my corporation counsel today, Steve Banks, a name that many of you will be familiar with. Steve's legacy of service is second to none. As the former attorney-in-chief of legal aid, Steve helped some of the most vulnerable New Yorkers get back on their feet. And as the commissioner of the Department of Social Services for 7 years under Mayor de Blasio, Steve overhauled our shelter system, helped over 175,000 New Yorkers find permanent housing, and fought for low-income tenants. There is a reason that after leaving office, he was described as the most effective social services director in New York City history. His reputation as a champion of those otherwise forgotten is recognized across the city. I am grateful to him for returning to public service. As New York's Corporations Counsel, he will be our city's lawyer, managing hundreds of attorneys and representing our city in court. It is an incredibly important role with wide-reaching and far-reaching implications, and there's no one I would rather turn to than Steve. Finally, as today is the day of announcements, and we are speaking of counsel, I am delighted to announce that I am naming Ramsey Kasim as chief counsel. Ramsey will be joining the administration from CUNY, where he serves as a professor of law. Government service is no novel concept for Ramsey, who served as a senior policy advisor for President Biden from 2022 to 2024, and has deep experience arguing in court, including before the Supreme Court. I will turn to Ramsey for his remarkable experience and his commitment to defending those too often abandoned by our legal system. City Hall will be stronger with him in it, and our work of building a more prosperous city for all will have a powerful advocate. My sincere hope is that New Yorkers who have long felt on the margins of this city, the homeless veteran straining to survive, the patient searching for the care that they need, an immigrant trying to get by, will feel that they now have leaders in their corner who understand their struggles and care to fight for them. That is the city I want to build, the prosperity I intend to deliver, and the leadership that has too long been lacking. Thank you, and please join me in first introducing Ramsey Kasim, my new Chief Counsel.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to begin by thanking the mayor-elect for what feels both like a privilege and a calling, frankly, an honor and a call of duty to serve the city that I've called home, the city that embraced me. I grew up in war-torn countries in the Middle East, authoritarian regimes, and New York City was really my first stable and permanent home. And this is an opportunity for me to repay that debt. I've been trying to repay that debt ever since I came to this country, ever since I immigrated. Service has been the lodestar of my career, of my professional life, whether it's service, as the mayor-elect mentioned, at the White House or at CUNY, one of the oldest and largest public institutions in our country, and specifically at a law school whose motto is law in the service of human needs, to give back to working-class New Yorkers and serve their social mobility. Or whether it's through the clinic and nonprofit that I founded, CLEAR, in service of clients, communities, and movements nationwide. Service is what I look to do and what I hope to do alongside the mayor-elect and his team at City Hall to defend the rights of all New Yorkers without exception, and to create space for the mayor-elect and his team, this administration, to deliver on the promises and the agenda that was so enthusiastically embraced by our fellow New Yorkers. So again, I thank the mayor-elect for this honor, and I look forward to speaking with all of you.
Now I would like to call forward a friend and soon to be a partner in our administration, Steve Banks.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor-elect, for nominating me to lead the New York City Law Department and for your very kind words. If only my mother and father could hear your words. During all my years as a legal aid lawyer and then as a city commissioner, they wondered what I was actually doing with my law degree. Your words would have given them a lot of nachas. I have a unique perspective on the law department. For 33 years as a legal aid lawyer, including 10 as head of the organization, I litigated against the law department. For 8 years as a city commissioner, I was represented by the law department in both affirmative matters involving access to rental assistance, SNAP, food stamps, and Medicaid, as well as matters defensively protecting and addressing the right to shelter. During my time at Legal Aid and in the years since I left city government in 2021, I've also co-counseled with the law department in matters relating to the right to shelter. I know firsthand the key role that the staff of the law department can play in supporting the mayor-elect's vision and agenda for transformative change to help New Yorkers in every community of the city. I'm honored to be the first legal aid lawyer ever nominated to be the Corporation Counsel, and I'm ready for this leadership role. You see, the Legal Aid Society had 1,100 lawyers. That's even more than the numbers of lawyers at the law department. So I'm ready to manage a large law firm like I did at the Legal Aid Society. And in addition to the well-known major cases that I've litigated and handled for low-income and working New Yorkers, over the course of my 44 years as a lawyer, I've represented large numbers of individual clients whose lives have been harmed by city actions. This has provided me with a unique vantage point on the human impact of city policies and practices. The law department can play an essential role in addressing the human impact of such city conduct. Finally, my wife of almost 40 years, who I met on a picket line, by the way, during a legal aid strike in 1982, she and I have been blessed over the past year with 2 grandchildren. I'm ready to take on this role because I know that under this mayor, the Corporation Counsel, and the staff of the law department can help make this city a better place for our grandchildren, for every New Yorker, their children, and their grandchildren. Thank you again, Mayor-elect, for this opportunity.
And now, our new Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, Helen Artega.
Buenas tardes, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to Elmhurst. I want to thank the Mayor-elect Mamdani for this trust and faith in appointing me Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services. At this important moment in our city, it's not lost to me that the agency under this portfolio are the safety net for so many New Yorkers who are looking to survive or sometimes get a second chance. Whether they're visiting our hospitals, entering our shelters, or going to our after-school programs, or just aging out of foster care. It is that workforce and those providers in this portfolio that work so hard to get these New Yorkers through the hardest times in their lives. To that workforce and those providers, I say I'm ready to work alongside you to provide innovative solutions so you can take advantage of every opportunity, every interaction to address the affordability crisis that brings so many to our doors. To every New Yorker that trusts us enough to show up, and to those that are suffering in silence wherever you are, because they do not know if government will protect them or treat them with dignity, I promise you today that I will work so hard to ensure that you are seen and that we are thinking big and courageous about solutions that will allow you to thrive in the city that we love. You see, I see you because your struggles are mine. I am who I am because of them. I want to thank Mayor-elect and the team for indulging this appointment here at Elmhurst Hospital, because you see, here is where my advocacy was born. It is here where my dad died without having lack of insurance. It was here that I survived COVID. And it's here that I want to say, Madre, tu sacrificio valió la pena. And it is here that I serve as a proud CEO for the past 5 years. Like the mayor-elect, I'm just another immigrant kid from Queens. But the two of us are ready to take everything that we learned from our culture, our families, and our upbringing to make big changes in New York City, the city that has loved us so much. So to Dr. Katz, my H&H family, and my Elmhurst Strong family of 6,057, know that I'm super grateful for these last 5 years. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for learning together, for growing together, for crying together, and for overall coming together for our city. When I walk through the doors of City Hall in like 2 days, I'll be walking in with all of you inside my soul and my spirit. But now I'm ready to work on something really cool. I'm ready to work on the mayor's-elect vision and dream for New York City. Mil gracias.
I'll take questions in one moment, but I just want to quickly just give
We'll start on cover questions, please, and for everybody. For the mayor election with DM, the Department of Community Safety, we haven't heard that much about how this is going to operate just yet. Is this going to be under the DM, or is this under something different?
The Department of Community Safety would fall under the first deputy mayor's portfolio. However, it will require a whole of government approach and commitment, and I look forward to working with our new deputy mayor in ensuring that.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Hi, Mayor-elect. The comptroller released an audit this morning declaring that the Health Insurance Stabilization Fund, which helps pay for supplemental benefits for city workers, is insolvent, recommending that it be dissolved. He found that it has outstanding liabilities of $3.1 billion. That is obviously not nothing. Would like to hear your response. And also, what do you say to city workers who are perhaps concerned about their health coverage?
Well, to city workers, I will say each and every day that this will be an administration that takes your concerns seriously and looks to do more than that. It looks to actually deliver on them. And the report, as well as any other analysis, is something that we are going to take seriously as we assume office in a few days.
Mayor-elect, this constellation of advisors seems like it could really be at the intersection of potentially combating efforts from the Trump administration, from beefing up the law department to prevent deportations, as you've mentioned, to pending SNAP and other benefit cuts. Have you had kind of a conversation with this cohort about the approach to the Trump administration, and what are your first few initial actions you're going to take relative to these top advisors and what you're instructing them to do relative to the Trump administration?
Well, I think it all comes back to the welfare of New Yorkers. And what I am so excited by, frankly, in each and every one of these appointments are New Yorkers who are committed to not only protecting those who call this city home in terms of their rights and their freedoms, but also in terms of their ability to find care in a city where too often healthcare is something that is synonymous with being something that is unaffordable. And I think that even in my own conversations with the president directly, I will always and have made the case for this city. I look forward to my top staff doing the same.
But is it that you would first pick up the phone and call the president? If you didn't get along, okay, these guys go at him? Is that kind of the approach?
I will look to have a conversation with anyone and everyone. And also, I think it's important that there are fights and freedoms that will be protected in conversations. There are fights and freedoms that will be protected in court. There are a number of active court cases, frankly, that I look forward to working on with my nominated corporations counsel to ensure that our actions as a city are furthering the protection of the rights of the people who call it home. Thank you.
Question for both mayor-elect and the deputy mayor. The first mayor-elect, you have very limited time left before you take office. Are you planning to announce your next police chancellor and transportation commissioner in the next 24 hours? Just trying to gauge where you're at with that. And then the deputy mayor as well. Are you still going to have a role here at the hospital, or are you going to be leaving permanently? Thank you, guys.
So to the first question, I'll give you the answer you don't want to hear, which is wait and see.
I would not be leaving my home here at Elmhurst Hospital if it wasn't something important, and working with Mayor-elect and his vision and his dream is something that I want to do because I see the impact. But more importantly, it's going to take a lot of work, so I'm going to dedicate 100% to the vision.
I have a question for the nominee. I was wondering, could you, observing from the outside, is there anything you feel like you want to do differently about how the law department has approached the litigation with the Trump administration? It's sort of how it handles the work with immigration that city and state do together.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Let me take a little bit of a step back. I've been involved with leading two other institutions, the Legal Aid Society and the Department of Social Services. And my first approach in leading both those organizations and making major reforms in both of them was to engage the frontline staff, to understand the nature of the work that they're doing, their views of the work that they're doing, and the kinds of ways that they see that they can play a key role in the front lines of moving forward with the mayor's affordability agenda. So I come to the institution of the New York City Law Department with that same approach, that in order to move an institution forward, you have to engage the people who are doing the work and move forward on that basis. At the same time, the mayor's been very clear about what his vision is, what his values are, and the law department's going to be a major part of that when legal responses are needed. One thing I know as a lawyer, and I learned as a city commissioner, lawyering is involved in almost everything involved in the actions that government takes. And so we're going to be very much looking forward to helping implement the mayor's affordability agenda.
And I'll just add one thing, which is that I will demand excellence from my team, from myself, and also I will ensure that we create the conditions where that excellence is possible to deliver on. And what I mean by that is that we have seen a shortage in staffing within the city's law department, and one of the commitments in making this nomination is also to ensure that we provide that same kind of focus in the intricacies of the law department itself, the staffing of the law department, so that our nominated corporations counsel can actually do the work that we are asking of them.
You said in the past you want a lot of those lawyers to focus on immigration cases. Is that still the case, or are they going to be doing just kind of more normal work too elsewhere in the law?
Frankly, I think that there is a clear need for a few hundred additional lawyers at the law department just from the beginning of it. And I think that the work will encompass some work in providing legal services for immigrant New Yorkers. The question of the totality of that work I will also leave to my corporations counsel. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor-elect, and for...
How's it going, Chris?
How are you? Steve's position is obviously subject to council approval. Have you received any assurances from the council that they will confirm his nomination? And follow up on Joe's question...
Let me do that one first. Yeah. Thank you, brother. I have been in touch with incoming Speaker Menon about the nomination of Steve Banks as our corporations counsel, and I look forward to that process.
Got it. On Joe's question, you proposed on a campaign trail to hire specifically 200 new law department lawyers. When you announced that, you said that was part of an effort to kind of Trump-proof the city, to be able to fight back against Trump administration initiatives. Is that pledge still holding? Are you going to hire those 200 attorneys? Are we going to see that in the prelim budget? And if Steve could speak a little bit to how attorneys would be deployed specifically to fight the Trump administration.
That pledge is still continuing of hiring 200 additional lawyers, and it's also a pledge of thinking about what the legacy of the law department has been for decades. The law department had been on the front lines of many of the fights for equal rights across this country, but today it has been hollowed out. And this is incredibly important for us in the work that we are seeking to do in this administration, that we have a corporations counsel and a law department that is not only staffed, but is also back on the front lines as opposed to the defensive that we have seen over the last few years.
Mayor-elect, do you support a
No worries.
controversial the city, but do you support a ban on horse carriages here in New York City? Would
Yep.
you support a ban?
I've said that I support removing horse carriages from Central Park, and I've also said that I look forward to working with union partners and community leaders to actually deliver on that.
All right. I think we have time for just one quick one that they have.
Hey, man.
How's it going, Dave?
Good. Just following up on Morgan, I know you said wait and see, but buses were so central to your campaign.
Yes.
They've been so central. The transit has been so central to a lot of what we talked about in office. So what are we looking for in terms of DOT leadership come January 1st? Is there going to be an interim commissioner, or are we going to have a new person who I get to bother with?
No matter who's there, I know that you'll be bothering them. And I appreciate it because, frankly, what this is about looking for a fealty to a commitment to New Yorkers that are often overlooked. Right? Today we have spoken about it in the context of health. But when we speak about bus riders, we're speaking about more than 1 million New Yorkers who are riding the slowest buses in the country. This will continue to be a focus of my administration and a recognition that it is New York City government that runs the streets of this city, and therefore there is an opportunity in the way in which we approach that, not only to honor the commitments and proposals that have been put forward in prior years, which Streets Blog also broke the news of at a press conference not too long ago, but also, frankly, to think about how do we make this city an example for the world in the ways to get around efficiently and reliably.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, everyone. But we'll see you soon. I do promise that.